Hello everyone, it's Donnell McAdams and Megan, and we're here tonight to continue on with Circle Mania 2, and the reason for that is I really hadn't planned for Circle Mania 2, but we had so many questions about some things, and that I didn't get to show the strand of hearts and the link of diamonds last week, and actually I didn't even show the circles on quilts templates. So I'm going to continue on with this project. And remember, what we were using was a panel print. Some of you have ordered this, and you can still order it if you haven't, on our website. And when I say our website, it's the SewBiz website. Here's your link right here. Sew Steady doesn't sell fabric. And then this is what I did last week, which is this one right here. So we're going to continue on. We're going to work on at least one more of these tonight, and we're going to do some things a little bit differently. So I'm not going to repeat what I did last week because it's up there. You can go back and you can look at that. But remember, when you buy templates and things that, like the Choco Pen and things like that that you can get from Sew Steady, if you will just pull this up on your computer and click on that link, we will appreciate it, because that is our link for the Sew Steady products. So we're going to lay that aside now for our purposes. I'm going to flip this over. Some of you remember last week that I said I probably was going to take those corners out. I did, and I like it a lot better. I am going to put something back in there, but I may actually wait until I join this block with another block, because I may just completely fill in that whole edge there. So I haven't decided, but I have taken those out of there. I'm going to flip it over so that you can see. Now, there's some spots that I still haven't cut my thread out of, but this is what it looks like on the back. We use the ovals. We use the strand of pearls. We use decorative stitches on our machine, and the circles and straights template, or circles and straights tool, because that circles and straights tool allowed us to sew those circles.
Maud wants to know, is the kits available on our website?
Yes, it is. It's definitely available. Now I'm going to tell you a couple of things first, and Megan, I forgot to get it. So over there in that box is my heat press batting together. I want to show you something, because when you're making projects this size, you probably have batting that you have used from another project that you could put together and have a big enough size. So this is just some batting here that I have left over from the side of a quilt. And I wanted to show you, because I've already put mine together for tonight, but I wanted to show you this product called Heat Press Batting Together, because I've been reading some of your comments.
They're saying you're muffled. Let's move your mic just a little bit.
Okay.
See if that's any better.
All right, we'll try. Keep letting us know. So it comes in a roll, and what you're going to do is you are going to take your two pieces, lay them right side together, and then you're simply going to take a piece of this. This happens to be a new roll, because I just ran out of my roll, and I did this on a couple of the pieces that I'm using tonight. But this is a very fine tricot mesh, and so what you would have is your other piece up beside this, and you would then just lay this on top and press it together. So you're basically making two pieces of batting into one. Now I see all other kinds of comments where you overlap and zigzag. That can create a ridge right in part of your quilt, whereas this will not do that. So this comes on a roll. Most quilt stores have it. It's called Heat Press Batting Together. And it is a roll of like 15 yards. That's a lot.
Okay, they say that it still is muffled and it kind of sounds like you're yelling. So let's try doing this. There we go. Let's try that.
Okay, does that sound any better? I'm not sure what we're doing different than what we've done. So that's heat press batting together. Does anybody have any questions on that? Somebody I see had a question on the grid glider. I was looking for the question on the grid glider. Well, I'm going to answer what I think might have been the question and probably related to size. And this grid glider is actually 20 inches, I believe. I'll take it off and measure it. Yes, 20 inches by 11, no, by 12, 20 by 12. And we put it onto the machine. We are just going to line up side to side and front to back, so that these lines, if I was sewing a 1/4 inch seam, that line would actually be right lined up with the edge of a 1/4 inch foot, which I obviously don't have on there right now. I forgot to thread my machine, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I love my needle threader, and you guys, the easiest way to keep a needle threader working is use it correctly. In this case, you push a button and it sets the needle to the right point of where it's supposed to be. So just a little hint there. Now, you can go back and look at all the information from last week. This is the one that I'm going to use first. This is one of the 3 pieces. And on the back, I have actually fused a piece of Heat and Bond Light to the back. And let me get a corner that's going to come up and be sealed there. There we go. You can see that shine right there. And I am going to be using a different color tonight because I sold out of the black and will be waiting to get more. So I'm going to use a green, and I think it's going to work just fine. So we're going to go ahead and move this over so you can see it. I've already sprayed my spray on here so that I can mark it with my markers, whether they be chalk markers or my Frixon markers. And when I say Frixon markers have the tip on them that are like a felt tip pen. So that's what I'm going to be using to do my marking. And I tried a new product today, and I'm really liking it. It's right behind you there, Megan, and I'll need the one that says Iron Maiden. Yep, that's it. So this works like Best Press. I always like to give people updates on new notions and what I find. This is called Precision Piecing Products, and it's by Precision Piecing Products, and it's called Easy Press Fabric Treatment. Now this again is like a starch alternative. The cool part of this is one layer works like 2 layers of the Best Press. So I still have my Best Press. If I don't want as much on, I'll use that. If I want my 2 layers so that I can iron off my marks, because remember, this puts a barrier between my marker, and my marker is one that goes off with heat, and then it puts a barrier between that and my ink. Now I put mine in one of these bottles. You can actually get this with a spray bottle. This is the refill size. You can get a smaller size with a spray bottle. So I know that this is my one. This one says Iron Maiden. I know that that is the one that has this in it.
When you are using this on batiks, do you need to spray both sides of the batiks or just the side you're sewing
Just
on?
one side. And I will tell you, I think I went through this last week, but I'm a firm believer in pre-shrinking by steaming your fabrics. So I did that before I did all of the work here. So it was steamed with a steam iron, and you can believe me, it shrinks just a minute amount. But as I told you last week, take a 3-inch square and steam it and see how much it pulls up. Or take a 6-inch square. Do something so that you make sure that after you're finished, after putting all this work in, you don't have something that's going to shrink. Now I've already marked this. I sprayed it. I've marked it. That will come off. It doesn't need to because it's underneath there. And I'm simply going to put a pin in the center here and a pin in the center there. And I'm just picking that up and pushing it completely down so that now it's right down on my fabric. And I want to get this squared up. Now with this design, you can decide, do you want to have this going up and down? Because remember last week I told you there are 16 of these, which means there's 16 of those. So do I want it this way so it's offset just a little bit so this is the straight up and down? Or do I want it going this way? I think I'm going to leave it so that this pink edge here goes straight up and down. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm just going to come out here, and then I'm going to come over to this side, and I'm going to call that stable. There's not a problem with that. Now I don't want to leave this square, so I am going to be using something. We could use our circles and straights tool to make a circle around that. We could use a template, but because this is so close here, I could use my circles and straights. I could also use the holes and the circle sewing tool that comes with my wish table. Easily do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a different way that we can do this, and that is by using the Circles on Quilts templates. Now the Circles on Quilts templates comes in sets. I recommend you get the 4-piece set because like tonight when I was getting ready for this, I didn't know which of these sizes was going to work. So I finally landed on the 10.5, and I'm going to be putting that right there in the center, and you can see it's going to be very close up there. But I think I'll be fine. If I'm not, I guess I'll go to a 10. So I'm going to turn this way so I can watch it better. You can either, and I know I had some people that have said that they would rather put the thumbtack up through the fabric, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my thumbtack in a piece of the tape. And I am using the RNK tape, and this piece had some ragged edges on it, so I just trimmed them off, and I want to get that dead center. Now when I do this, I am going to take a ruler and I'm going to line up this way and see, am I lined up there and down here? I am. So let's come over here and see. I pretty much lucked out the first time, you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rub that in place.
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing because about 3 or 4 people have said that they just received these templates today. So your timing is perfect because they just got them and now they can watch us use them.
Perfect, and that's why I decided. I had so many people asking me about, these types of things that I didn't get to last week, so I thought, well, I'm just going to do it this week. We'll call it Circle Mania 2. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to test this and see if I am on. Oh, I am just at the edge, so I am going to be okay. So what I'm going to be doing is I am going to be stitching a circle using my Circles on Quilts. Now we're going to use this again later most likely, but I wanted to do this because I want to trim up around it like I did last time. Now remember, this is going to look a little different because I'm putting a black on this green. So what I'm going to do is I'm out at the edge because this is the way I like to do it.
And you do have a sandwich here, right?
Oh yeah, this has got a backing on it. Sandwich and this layer with that peeled off but not fused down. So this is dead center. Again, you could put that tack up through all of the fabric if you would like. I am going to lower my needle. Well, I got it backwards. Lower my needle, raise my needle, and I'm going to raise my foot and I'm going to floss that. Now I'm using black thread for obvious reasons. And I need to use my tweezers to get my thread out. And I'm going to just simply put it underneath so that it's out of my way. I'm going to set that foot down, and I am going to follow the inside edge. It doesn't matter. I always follow the inside edge on this, but if you feel more comfortable following the outside, you can follow the outside. So needle is down. I'm holding on my template, and you notice that I don't have stable tape on this template because I really don't need it. And so now I'm going around, and I stop. Now this is so you can do a circle without turning your fabric. I'm going to go ahead and move to the end and stop. Turn it again and stop. Now when I was taught to do this, I was taught to start in here and go out there, and I always fell off. So that's why I start out here and come back here, because I can't fall off. I just stop. I have to tell you something funny. One night this week I came over and I got what I needed to work on finished in decent time, and then I came over and I cleaned up around my sewing area, and now I can't find a thing. I know some of you relate to that.
We've had the question, how wide is R&K tape? It's about a ½ inch, isn't it?
I'll tell you here, it's 3/4.
All right.
It's 3/4 of an inch, and in a couple of templates that I'm going to use here in just a few minutes, you can see that I have cut it in half because of the fact that it was a little bit too wide for what I was doing. Oh boy, that came back perfect. All right, so I'm right back to where I started, and because it's black, I'm just going to overlap a little bit, and I am going to cut that thread. All right, so I have stitched around, and so now for me to move on in what we're going to do, I have to cut up next to that stitching because I want to get that circle there. Now, I could do a decorative stitch in there, but the next thing I'm going to do with my templates is kind of a decorative stitch. It will be the diamonds, so therefore I'm not going to go ahead and stitch anything else on top of that because it would kind of take away from it. So I need to find my little duckbill scissors. And someone, I noticed when I was looking at the comments the other night, questioned me using them this way. Now I know this is not the normal way to use them, but this gives me the extra amount that I want outside of my stitching. As I say that, I didn't get close enough. So that gives me the extra little spacing so that it doesn't cut too close. Now yes, you can go this way also around there, but I tend to get too close to my stitching. So that's why I don't like to do that. So for those of you that wonder why I'm doing that, this one I need to get a little closer because it's not rounded out.
So while you're cutting that, I have some questions. Denise wants to know that if you were using the circle tool to put this on, or for anything actually, could you add trims or lace with the circle tool?
You can do anything that your mind puts you to. And I mean that seriously because some of the things that I have done in the last 2 or 3 weeks with this, it's just a matter of what if. You know, thinking, oh, well, I could do that because I never thought of doing what I did last week by using the strand of pearls to use it to make my circle that I then cut out like this. So you can do pretty much anything you want.
And tell us again what scissors you're using.
I'm using the 4-inch duck bills. I do have a smaller set that I forgot to bring home that I wanted to show you. I'll try to remember to do that next week because it's a little tiny duckbill. It's a little miniature duckbill that would work for this also. Now what you see here, if this was all black, I wouldn't be so worried about this. But this has got the green here, so I don't want my circle to not look like a circle. So I kind of have to get right down in here in my work to do this. So I apologize if you're not getting the best view. All right.
Those scissors, if they're interested in any of the details about them, those are on Sew Steady, correct?
I don't think these are.
But they're on our shopping list, right? Okay. So if you go to the handout that I have pinned to either the top or the bottom, depending on what device you're using, the shopping cart does have this in it. There are 2 links there for shopping carts.
Now these that I'm using right now are the little scissors that I use when I do my temply, but it's going to be good to just finish this up with that right there. All right. So now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to change to a different color of thread on the top. I'm not going to change on the back. There's really not, you know, I don't care if there's black on the green. It would be awful to have to every time change your thread to match the top. Now if you want to do that, you can do that. That's certainly not a problem. But you can see I've got black on the back there. And isn't that a nice circle if you were wanting to put circles on quilts? So that's one way to use it. I'm going to use it in several different ways here tonight. So I think what I'm going to do, you think pink?
Pink is pretty. It'll be pretty on the green.
It's going to be going in here. So let's hope that works.
For our left-handed friends, do they have those scissors that you were using for left-handers?
I do believe they do, yes. So I'm rethreading. Again, I'm using a 90 top stitch needle, and I have talked to you before about the importance of changing your needles so that you get good stitching. And this time what we're going to be using is the 11.5, I think. Nope. This is the diamond template set. This is what it looks like, link of diamonds, and there are 5 different templates in here. So we're going to see what size that works the best for what we're doing. And I might as well just work with you on this as far as showing you how I find out. I'm going to be putting the diamond in here. And so I am going to use the 10.5. Now I've got my stable tape on here. I really don't need to have any gate opening and closing, but I am going to tape it because I don't want to lose that. And that Scotch tape doesn't hold as well. And a while ago I was talking to you about how I'm going to cut this in half, because this is a little bit wide for that section right there. And so I'm simply going to take my tape, and let's get some straight scissors, and we're just going to cut right down the middle, and we'll put that on there so that if and when we use our gate, we will have it ready to go, and we will not have lost our little key there. All right. So you can see there's a lot of different sizes on the templates. And what I want to point out to you is that on these templates, let me get this out of the way so you can see. On these templates, there are V-shaped lines. And the way you know which hole to use, you can see there's a hole here and there's a hole here. And that V shape, when it comes down, it merges at this hole. And so for the top one, I'm using the bottom hole. If I was using these small ones, which I may use here in a minute, I would be using this hole. So you follow the V. And yes, if you can't find that tape, it is available on our website, the SewBiz website. Trust me, anything I'm showing you, if you can't find it, it's probably on our website, because that's my whole purpose, is to be able to show you things so that you have a place to get them.
So you talked about the tape. We've got questions. Is this like duct tape? Is it like frog tape?
It's like RNK tape.
So you would not recommend duct tape or frog tape or masking tape?
Frog tape is not heavy enough to hold things in place. Masking tape gets crispy and nasty. It's totally up to you. This is an embroidery tape, and so therefore it is designed for use on fabric, and we won't have any problems with it that way. Now, I got a little ahead of myself because I need to put on some lines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply put my template on my thumbtack. And I'm going to line up. And this, if you remember right, last week I said how excited I was when I saw that this all lined up. And so I am using those lines. And in this case, there's just a little spot at some places. And that's okay, just enough to line up. Sorry about that, I'm reaching through because I got templates all over the place. And then I'm rotating and lining up with that etching that's halfway between, making sure these are lined up, and then we'll put a mark in here. Now, for those of you that haven't been with us very long, these markers come off with heat, and that's why I put that spray on there that I was talking about, because then it will come off. So you can see I've got marks here, and what I'm going to do is these couple that aren't very long, I'm going to extend, and I just use my centerpiece, line up the marks, and then I can extend those. And in some cases, I'm mainly only extending them just because I know you can't see them, because I can. All right, so it kind of looks like we've got a sundial going on here. And so now we're going to set this back on the pen, and at this point you decide, where exactly do I want my diamond to be? Do I want it right over this? I don't think so. I want it in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line the template, and there's a little line up here at the top, up so it works on that side. So you're going to see here how this is put together. So I'm going to start at this point, and when you do the diamonds, it comes across, and this will be part of the circle. So I'm putting my starting point right here, pulling up my thread, making sure anything didn't move. and I do just this bottom edge and the two sides. Then I rotate over, and I will be completing this side, coming over and making the one on that. So I've got to again line up. This is going to be perfect because then I can go around and do a decorative stitch on top of that rather than doing this on top of a decorative stitch. Because see, it's coming right to my edge there. So now we're here, we're lining up. Move around, line up again. Always stop with your needle down. Now, I want to get back in line. This one is a little bit over there. I'm going to show you how that's done. So watch this. I'm coming down and I'm going to stop in the middle. And I'm going to adjust just that teensy little bit. I mean, it's not hardly anything. And then I will continue on so that I got right back to where I should be, because it was just a smidgen off. And again, no one is going to know that. And I always like to teach you what, because you know, hey, it's going to happen. And you want to be able to get back on. So again, this one doesn't need it, but I would stop in the middle and then I'd move my template left or right, depending on what it needed.
So for those who have been asking, these videos, they're up for kind of an unlimited time. These are different than the classes that have a certain time limit.
Correct. And Megan's been putting them on our YouTube site too, so
I'm a few weeks behind, but I'm working on getting them up there.
this is so much fun, even though I don't know what I'm doing when I start. And that's truly what a lot of times this is. You just start out and you look at what you've got to work with. Get your sizing in there, because we're going to be able to go back and do a decorative stitch right around this top part.
So I got a question from Eloise. Have you ever used glide thread?
Yes, and it's a good thread.
Do you like using it for piecing and quilting?
I have my favorite for piecing, and that is Quilter Select 60 weight, so that's what I always use. Now, I have to show you that when we're doing this, we're back to where we started. So the same thing is going to apply. I'm coming down, I'm coming to the middle, and I'm going to turn this so that you can see it, because I need to get a 1/4 of an inch away, so this will be right at the right spot. What are we looking for?
They want to know the name of the template you're using.
This is called Link of Diamonds.
Okay.
There's Strand of Pearls, which we did last week. There's Strand of Hearts, which we're going to do this week. And this is Link of Diamonds.
Okay.
And I can't believe it. That looked like it was off, but it's not. So I'm going to come right up here
I typed
come
it
to
as
right there.
Jewels of Diamonds, because that's what's on the template.
Now
So-
it's Link. All right, so I'm right here at this spot. I'm finished going around there. Let's move this over so you can see it. And what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to take this out so that I've got some leeway in there. I'm going to raise my needle, lift up my foot, pull this back so I have thread, come back to that very same spot, and pull up my bobbin thread. So my bobbin thread is black, as you can see. I only need about 8 inches out here, so I've got it. And I'm simply going to cut that. And then this template is done. And so I pulled my extra bobbin thread to the back, and I've got 2 threads here of black and 2 threads of my pink. And I'm going to take those, I'm going to spin this 2 fingers around so I get a loop. You can do it any way you want, you just need to get that loop. And then I'm taking either my top threading, self-threading needle or my side. I like the side ones. I'm putting it right in that same spot, and now I'm pulling my thread down and letting go of the loop. So the loop is now formed a knot about 1/8 of an inch away. And then I simply take my thread, put it in that side threading, and then I am just going underneath and burying that in my fabric. So when I do that, I'm going to pull both of these through because you're going to still be able to see the knot right there, and I just popped it right in between there. And then simply pull your fabrics tight so that it's kind of pulled up just like that. Make sure you're not cutting your top fabric there, and because you pulled it tight, now it buries itself right down in there. So that's the way I tie my needle, That's the way I tie off my threads. Now at this point, we have a decision to make. Are we going to put that decorative stitch around there? Are we going to go ahead and do more stitches? I'm going to go ahead and do more stitches because I don't want to stitch, back and forth, back and forth. So what I'm going to do this time is I am going to make another row of the diamonds, and I'm going to hit them between these. So I'm going to make sure that they're offset. So instead of using the 10.5, I'm going to use the 11.5. My diamonds, where'd they go? There we go.
Will that put a line in between them, or are you going to do the line?
I may not do this, okay? This may not work exactly the way I want because it's going to come off. So I guess I'm not going to do that for this particular thing.
Do you have a longer one?
I do not.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm going to use the circles, and I'm going to put an 11.5 out here in pink. And all I did was put this on. I've got the bigger circle. I'm going to put my needle down. I'm going to bring up my thread. Do I want pink or do I want green thread?
Well, will the green look... will it show up on the green?
Oh, yeah. We'll do pink on this, and then we'll do our decorative stitch in green. That's what we'll do. Thread up, pull through, put it back down. Now you always want to put your foot down and then your needle. If I don't say that, you need to remember that. My machine actually, when I put my needle down, my foot automatically goes down. But some machines are not that way. So we're going to go around. I can tell you, I absolutely love this circles on quilts. Making these circles.
Now, if they don't have this template, they could use their
circles
and straights.
circles and straights, or You could use your tool that goes with this table if you have the wish table. Now before, because it was on that black, I just simply overlapped and cut it. I don't think I want to do that with this. I'm back to where I started. So I'm just going to meet up, take that thread up, and I'll bury it.
Becky wants to know, can she use these templates that you're using right now on a mid-arm quilting machine?
As long as, oh, forgot to bring my bobbin thread up. As long as you get long arm templates. And these are great for that. Definitely great for that. Patience, everyone. I obviously can't talk and do two things at once. All right, so 2 threads here, pull them through, use my needle, do you reckon that's my bobbin thread? Nope. You can see it's being a little bit stubborn here, but since I haven't taken out this happens sometimes. Since I haven't taken it out of there, I'm going to see if I can get it fixed without it becoming a knot. So, at that point, I'm pulling it out. What questions do they have while I'm doing this minute work here?
Well, there are some questions about Monday's class. Do you want to address those now?
I will be happy to address Monday's class, yes.
Okay. Do they need to have their fabric before Monday's class?
No. They need to have 2 sandwiches to work with, and it doesn't matter what color. We're not going to start right out on the quilt. I will be talking about what you need to cut. I know some have got everything, and that's fine because you have a handout. There will be a handout that's distributed Monday morning when you get the link to the class. It will have 6 pages. Woo, got it, guys, got it. Now, while we're at this point right here, I am going to show you the bigger set. We have what's called the extension set of templates. And so they are another 4-piece set where we can do bigger circles. So I am going to do a couple of bigger circles with these, and then we'll come back and do some decorative stitching in between them. So, gonna switch my thread to a different color. And I know some of you are worried about these little stitches right here. Don't be. It's gonna get taken care of. Any other questions about the class for Monday?
The spray that you introduced us to, where can they find that? It's on the shopping link, right? Okay. Is it still too, is it too late to sign up for Monday's class?
Nope, it is not too late. The link should be on Sew Studies page somewhere. I can't sure tell you where. You might have to go down because we have so many classes going on. You might have to go down a little ways to find it. It has my picture. All right, I'm going to come clear out here.
Oh, this is a great question from Linda. Using this template that you've got,
What am I doing? It came off, you guys. Go ahead.
can you do a decorative stitch while using it in this template?
No. Whew. That kind of scared me.
Kristen wants to know, will you come and hold her hand if she does this?
Sure, where's she live?
She lives in Oregon.
Well, that's okay. That's great. The So Steady
She said
office
she'll even
is
cook for us.
the So Steady office is in Eugene. Now, because of a couple of things that have happened on this way around, I can tell you I'm going to be putting a decorative stitch over this. So at this point, I'm just going to come back like I did and cut this thread. And we'll build upon that. And you guys probably can't even see the stitching on that because of the colors. So I say it's time to take this off, and we're going to go, and since last week I used the Circles and Straights tool, that's what I'm going to use this week. So I'm taking this off. This is my Circles and Straights tool. This is the package that it comes in. This is the piece that I'm going to be putting this pin up through the center of my project. And this piece is going to go down so that it's lined up straight to the left of my needle. It has to be that way. Now, we're not going to be using the ruler foot on this. We are going to be using the regular decorative stitch foot, or on some of your machines, it might be called the multi-purpose foot. And so because it's bigger than I've done before to demonstrate for you guys, I am going to go ahead and do the decorative stitch I want to go over on that stitching. So I am going to be going back to my regular stitches, and my machine tells me make sure you got the right foot on. which I just put on there. And because it's given me some fits, I'm going to change my bobbin to a white. Lay this back down, make sure it's still straight out to the side. Now this is where the Circles and Straights tool is a lot of fun to use, because all I have to do is put this piece up in the center of it, and then I will simply leave that there and continue to move where I need to move to. So in this case, since I've not made a hole through there, I'm going to, just like that, I'm going to take one of my markers and I'm just going to make it so that I can tell where that center is. An X is always the best way to mark a spot. And we are going to turn this. I haven't taken the sticky off of this side yet. And I'm going to put that right in the middle.
Well, that's cool.
And then when I turn it over, it's right there, dead center, and I'm simply putting this on. But don't put it down tight because this has to rotate. Okay? So we're going to come back here, and I am going, it doesn't matter which way I put it, as long as this line, oops, you guys can't see a thing. As long as this line going side to side is lined up with that line. So I could have the straight edge on that side, or I can have the other side. It doesn't really matter. Now what I want to do, I showed you this last week, and this is one reason I really kind of like the Circles and Straights tool for doing this, is I want to stitch a decorative stitch right over what I just did. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to sit that down there, and I'm going to first decide before I come back over here and move it, I'm going to first decide what decorative stitch I want to use, because it may be in like a left-handed position. So I'm going to use this one. I think it goes pretty fast. And if you have the Janome M7, it is H1. And so it starts in the center. So now all I have to do is come over here, and I'm going to make this a little easy on you guys to see. I'm going to make a mark on there so you can see that black line. And then I'm just going to be able to line that up, first of all, straight this way, and then so that that line is exact. After I did that, I realized I haven't taken off the sticky. And once you take off that piece, don't lose it. But if this quits being sticky, all you got to do is put it underwater. I can't even imagine it not being sticky because it's so sticky. So I got to get underneath here, so you might see my head. There we go, because I want it straight on there. And so now, before we start, I got everything lined up. But I'm going to lift up my foot, and I'm going to take a little path around there and see, how's that going to work? Is it going to be right on it? And sure enough, we're right back to where we started. So I'm going to put my foot down. Oops, no. Remember last week I taught you to start in an unobvious spot. So here we go. And so now all I need to do is just make sure that this is feeding straight into my machine, and I can kind of pull it out if it's not, pull it this way, but I tested it there, it's pretty darn good. Oh yeah, that looks a whole lot better. I told you I didn't like the looks of what was happening with this, so that's why I wanted to do something different. Now, believe it or not, that's as fast as this is going to go. I could try to speed it up. Oh, there, it speeds up a little bit. But I think you can see that coming out the back, maybe. So you can see how pretty that looks.
I'm going to take them on a little trip here. Let's see.
Now because I'm stitching over that other previous stitch, you wouldn't have had to do that big circle first. I'm showing you basically how to hide what I didn't like. But it did give you a little bit of an insight into how we can make larger circles. Because what I had planned to do, I may not do, and that was to sew another circle and put the little tiny between the lines circles in there. So we'll just have to see what we have time for, because I want to go to the other one so I can show you the hearts. Otherwise, we'd have to have Circle Mania 3, which would be okay. But I knew the people that were, doing 3 circles might want to see some different ideas. And for those of you that have never tried that Circles on Quilts where it just does circles of all sizes, you're going to love that. You can actually do so many things. You can do partial circles. You don't have to do full circles. So you can just do a whole lot of different things with that. So it looks like quite a few of you are going to be joining me Monday morning. For some of you, it's going to be bright and early, I think.
And if they can't show up at the time that you're doing it,
it's archived.
It's archived form, okay.
Right. My understanding is you'll be able to watch all of them until 4 weeks after the last class. And I'm not going to be going fast, so don't panic. The whole idea is that I'm going to teach you from the beginning. So I'm going to be talking about beginner things, and some of you may say, oh, she's already told us that. Well, there's probably somebody that hasn't heard it, and so that's why I'm doing all of the beginner techniques.
So you had mentioned that you use the heat and bond on the center circle. How does it apply for this lesson?
We're going to press this down later, and that will make these edges so that they don't come up.
What size do you want the sandwiches for Monday's class?
It's all in the instructions. I'm sorry, that is not. I would just make them fat quarters. Just take a fat quarter, and the plainer the better on the top. The back, we don't care what it is. Just a fat quarter sandwich will be fine. So we're getting close to coming back here. Right there's where I started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch real closely. I have a stop button on my machine that I press. It's going to finish up, and you can see it's knotting in place, and then all I have to do is cut the threads, and it's taking it to the back. So that's what we have right there. Now I'm going to come back, and I am going to put a stitch in here that is going to come around and touch this so that it is more reinforcement. There's a stitch there, but there will be a need for more reinforcement. So let's see what we're going to do for that. It can be a much narrower stitch, or it could be wider and take up more of that space. So let's see what we've got. With so many decorative stitches, it's definitely hard to figure out what to put in there. All right, let's do this one. So again, we're going to just peel this off. Now, I've had people ask me about how do you get this thing off of here. It's kind of like just wiggle it to a side. You see how I just wiggled that to the side and it came off? Makes it so much easier to get off of there. And I'm coming into here, and I think I'll put this back with the pink thread. Or maybe we should do the blue. What do you think?
I think we should do the blue.
All right, we'll do the blue. Since I have not used blue today, we'll do the blue. All right, so we've got this stitch, And we are going to get this set up. I've got my mark there. And now I'm just pushing that down. Again, I'm going to test where I'm coming around here. This is so easy and so fun, you guys. Get the circles and straights tool if you don't have any way of getting your circles done. And I'm going to set this foot down, and we're going to take off to the races here. And see how it's coming over just a little bit.
I was going to say, Patsy was worried that it was going to cut off your diamond points.
Nope. And that's why I picked this particular stitch. It's coming in just a little bit on the black, but not a ton.
So I think Joyce is thinking about getting a sew steady table for one of her machines. How long does it normally take for somebody to get it once they've ordered it?
About 3 weeks, because they are all custom ordered. If you use that shopping cart link up there at the top, that would be great. Now the thing you'll notice about this is this stitch is taking formation there. It's only coming down and barely touching on here, but that's okay. My whole point was I wanted to kind of perfect the circle that may not be perfect. So that's what this is doing.
And since we're not using the ruler work anymore, your feed dogs are up, correct?
Correct. On my machine, when I go out of ruler work, they automatically come up. But yes, that's correct. They are up because the machine it's simply doing a straight stitch. It thinks it's sewing it's simply doing a decorative stitch. It thinks it's sewing a straight line, but it's actually, because it's rotating around this pen, it's sewing that decorative stitch in a perfect circle. Can they see? Yeah.
So you've got Denise's mind going. She's wondering, could she use a wing needle and a twin needle to do a circle?
Oh yeah. I don't know exactly what that's gonna, I mean, you could do that without even having a fabric sandwich, because a wing needle is not going to make a hole very much in a fabric sandwich. But this doesn't have to be quilting fabric. This can just be, and if you do that, use a lightweight stabilizer. Anytime you're not using batting, you're going to need a lightweight stabilizer. And I think you can see how much better that black circle looks now that we have added something with it. I saw a couple of spots where my bobbin thread was coming up, so I just simply reduced my top tension. Now I'll tell you the secret. Get yourself a set of permanent markers that has at least 8 colors in it, maybe more. And when you have a little tiny spot, like it's a little spot there that you can hardly see, you can just take a permanent marker and just kind of touch it to that white thread. You guys, I am loving this. There's so many different things you can do with this. I think what I'm going to do is I am going to get my sample piece. I'm not going to do much more on I am going to do some more on this, but I'm going to get my sample piece to show you how to do the hearts, because I want you to know how to do the hearts. But do you guys see these right here? That's the same diamond shape. at the end today, I'll just put this back on with ruler work and I'll do those diamonds. Uh-oh, I was just running along there. I need to press my stop button and stop.
I was going to say, Nancy said she always misses her end when it comes to the decorative stitches.
Well, I just was doing, oh my goodness. Look at that, you guys. That's what it does by itself.
You're like a centimeter or two
I'm not
off,
even
or
hardly, yeah, not hardly anything off. So, again, I think you will agree when you look at that. Now, that black does not stick out as like, it's kind of almost finished, but maybe not.
So, Vicki asked, what happens if your patterns don't connect like that?
It's going to be just that way. I mean, that's just the way it's going to be. It's the luck of the draw. But as what I'm usually doing, I was talking that time, but what I usually do is I leave that thread stick out like I did when I was doing the one out here. I leave that thread stick out and I hold on to it and I watch as it's coming closer and closer and closer. But I can't believe that. This is when it started and we went around. You can see my little white there that I'll actually cover up with a marker. And this is where it came back to. So that's hardly off at all. So that's the fun of doing that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off. I'll come back to those diamonds, but I want to get a piece of, because I just don't have time to finish all of that, but I definitely want to show you how to do the hearts. So Megan, I know it seems odd, but I'm organized enough that if you turn around right there in the bottom of that drawer, there's a fat quarter sandwich for me.
If you can believe it, guys, she was right.
So I'm going
She
to
cleaned her
place up. All right, so I'm going to stick this down in here because we're done with that for the day. Circles and straights, I love you. And we are going to put our foot back on here so that I can show you how to do the hearts. And then we might just flip back to those diamonds.
So Myrna wants to know what kind of markers you use to color those threads.
I use permanent Sharpies, fine point, and they come in a bunch of different colors. Make sure you get some different colors so that it's going to blend in with your, sometimes you have to mix your colors a little bit to get it the right color. Test it on a scrap. Ask me how I know. But it will work. Okay. So now what we're going to do is I am going to set my pen in the middle here. Again, this could come up through the fabric. I need my large crosshair grid. It's always kind of fun to put that on first if you're not setting it. So then I'm just going to, in this case, it's black. I like to use my chalk marker. So I'm going to set this chalk marker. You guys are going to love these hearts. And I will tell you, when I first got them, I didn't know a thing about what to do with them. And that's one of the reasons I'm showing you tonight, because, you know, it just is easier when somebody shows you how to use what you may not know how to use. So I'm going to set that there. And the hearts templates, come in a set of 5. I thought it was 5, but I wanted to make sure. So this is the hearts templates and what they will do. Okay. Now you remember we did the diamonds and they have the, you know, the circle on the circle on the outside. Last week we did strand of pearls and I showed you you could go either way. On hearts you can only go one way. So I'm going to do first of all the 11.5 strand of hearts. And I took my thread out because I wanted to show you in white so you can see them easily.
Jeannie, notice you're going to need your glide sheet put back on.
Oh, thank you. You guys don't know how helpful that is, because I would have been sitting here going, I can't move this, why? And then it would have dawned on me. So thank you, thank you. My glide sheet almost knows how to jump off of the place that I store it and get right back in place over here. All right, so I've got my machine ready to thread. And we're going to go I always make sure it's down in the hole. And we need to go back and set up for ruler work. This one is on with only one hole, so I don't need to worry about it. And I'm going to line this up here, and I'm going to be starting here, coming here, and going back down. And you'll see why in just a second. So I'm starting at this point at the bottom of this little curve here. So I've marked it on some of my templates with a ruler, or a ruler sticker, because I always forget it, and then I start here and things don't work out. And the reason that you have to start here and come back is because when you go over here, you can't go anywhere. Here, you have to come back to this point. So this is different than the others, and your hearts will actually be double stitched. So we're going to just go ahead and start. I'm not going to pull up any threads on this. Yeah. Remind me to put it in medium speed, Jeannie. So I'm down here. I'm going across. I'm coming back and back down to this point. I rotate. I'm just going to clip this thread off, get it out of our way. I rotate. I'm lining this line up to where it comes. It's not like I have to say it's the next line, because you may not have put enough lines in, but this is 16 lines, so it would be the next line. And so now I'm coming back around, completing that heart, coming across, going around, and doing that half. Move to the next spot, make sure this is lined up. Do you see how I did that? It wasn't. It's a little bit off, but it is now. And then we're coming around, complete that heart, come across, and back
I like
down.
that they get double stitched. I like that a lot.
It's really cool.
Those would be super cute to template quilt too.
Yes, they would. Come around, make sure that's lined up. I'm going to turn so you can see just a little bit better. Now I'm only going to do one more because I want to show you a couple more of the sizes. But what you would want to do is when you get back to the beginning, you would want to take the time to measure before you do this part right here. Because out here it's going to always work. But when you get back to the beginning, measure here first, so that you can make sure that that's going to come back and line up. But isn't that the cutest? It's so much fun, and like Megan said, you could do it in template quilting. Circles, oh my gosh, there's just so much fun we can have with them. Now I'm going to show you one of the smaller ones.
Are the hearts the same size, just the circle itself is smaller?
Correct. The hearts are all the same size. And I'm going to do this one right here, so I'm following those V lines down. You know, that's out farther than I want to go. Let's see. Let's get a smaller one yet. Here we go. We'll do this one. Follow the V lines down to, and I'm going to put this so that this heart is going to be between these as it goes around, okay? You'll see what I'm saying here in just a second. Let me turn it upside down. Well, I don't think that's going to be possible. So we'll just follow the lines. Yeah, that'll put it on this one. We'll give it a shot. So remember, we start down here at the bottom, okay? Because we're going to make the sides both doubled. So we're going to come up and go back down. We're going to go across and go back down. Now these are actually going to overlap because they're close together. So when I come across this way, again, I'm lining up my line, closes the heart, line up your line, closes the heart. I can't even imagine how Leonie West designs all these designs like this. I mean, it's just amazing what she has put together for us to use. Do I have any questions? I'm having too much fun, you guys.
I don't see too many questions. I see a lot of just added this to my wish list, or I need another job to pay for my templates.
And you know, you can get these without having all the sizes. So if you're interested in the 2 sizes like what I'm doing here tonight, let me tell you, this one is, it's got 2 on it, so it's the 5.5 and 8.5. And the other one, I'm not even sure which one it was. It seems like it was the 11.5. My problem is I always justify getting the whole set because it's, well, number one, it's less expensive, and I know I'm never going to know exactly what I want to use unless it's been for a specific project. I want to go ahead and finish because I came around the opposite way and it's not where I had done all my others. So I've only got a few more for you.
Beverly wants to know, can you use this in a border, or does it have to be used in a circle?
You know what? I think you probably could. And I've been trying to take some time and play with some of these because I do think it could be used that way, because this bottom only arcs just a little bit. So it's a great observation. I'll try to get some time this week to maybe play with it to see and let you know next week, or if you guys come up with something, let me know. Send me an email.
Whoa! Sorry guys, you went for a trip because our cat just decided he wanted to play with the cord.
He gets a little bit jealous. He's playing with my...
Now he's attacking Mom.
Yeah, he's playing with my mic cord right now. So there's what we have.
That is so cute.
So you can see that you could even make like little mug rugs and just do this as the center. You know, so many options. I'll turn it around so you can see it this way, so you can see how that worked. and came, there's going to be one line up with each one of those as it comes around there. So I don't know how many there are, probably 16. And so there's probably 16 of these that go out and around there. So one last thing, real quick, we're going to take this off. Any questions on the hearts, you guys? I just want you to see how easy they are to do.
That pin that you just took off, does it come in that set?
Yeah, it's a thumbtack. It's simply just a thumbtack. So what we're going to do here is we are going to use that thumbtack. Maybe it's another one, but it's going to work. And remember, when I put that on there, I am making sure that it's going through the middle. Even though it looks like it is, I want to make sure, and it is. And so, Megan, I need my diamonds. We've got them all mixed up. They're right back there. When I opened up my templates today, I found one that I have been missing, so that was fun. Let's see if this lines up. That's kind of close. What is this one? A 5.5. Well, we're going to do it. It'll be a little off, but we're going to do it. So those of you that want me to do it in blue, send up a like, and those that want it to be in pink, send up a heart.
So tell me that again.
A like is blue and a heart is pink, because a like is usually blue and a heart is usually pink. Oh man, you guys are making it hard. Do you see that they're just about equal? So pink or blue, Megan? You pick.
Hold on. I'm seeing, I feel like I see more blue.
All right. Blue it is. If you want to get my runaway spool of thread and wind it up. Now, just so you know, this is a polyester thread that I'm using right here, so it has a little bit of sheen. The pink is a regular 40 weight all-purpose thread, and I've already used it in a couple of places. It's just fine. And I'm going to show you this because I had somebody tell me the other day that this has saved them a lot of trouble. When I put this down in here, I'm not going to get that thread to come through until I just kind of move my fabric to the side. So when you put that thread in there, just move it to the side because it's laying on, now it's not going to act right for me today probably. It's laying on the fabric, there we go, and you can just pull that to the side so you can pull it through. All right, so we're doing this side right here. I already have lines, and remember this one is one that I start at the top, and I'm coming around so the straight edge is right down here. So I'm coming into this spot. You may not be able to see much of it because it's kind of like blue on blue. And what my intent is to get pretty close to going around these triangles. Now I gotta see, do I need to be over to that line? Looks like I do. So we're lining up this way. I guess I was over here and the same thing, so down. I'll set these over there. And we are off to the races. Turn. Now remember what I told you regarding lining up. So this is not exactly lined up with that, but I'm going to stitch down there so it is, and then move it over, and we will be good. So you can see this is not hard at all to do. I'm going to have to look really super close to see when I get back to where I started. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this couple of sessions on learning how to work with not only your circles on quilts, but the templates that make into circles and how you can incorporate that with your circles and straights tool. Let's see. Yep, I just got one more to finish, and that one needs to come over. And because I really can't see, I'm just going to backstitch a couple and give it a cut. And the reason I said that is because I really can't tell it where it starts and stops. So if I can't tell, it doesn't matter that I just cut it. And we're going to pull it up here real close so you can see those diamonds that I did around that circle.
And we have had requests to see the back, so when you're ready.
There's the back. That's the one we just did. That's the one we did before. There's our decorative stitch and our other decorative stitch. So I really hope that you will play with these. Whether you have a circle in the center doesn't matter. You can just get some fabric and put the fabric in the middle and play with it in a circle, or you can get some of this fabric like we've had here so that you would have a circle to follow through. So
Debbie wants to know, can you do it so that the diamonds are on the inside of the...
Yes, because you would just do it the opposite way. Yeah. So thank you everyone for joining us. Some of you, I'll see you on Monday, and the rest of you, we'll see you next week. Have a great week. Take some time for yourself and sew. Bye now.